Hello and welcome to this workforce management tour. In this tour, what we will see are the main features that our customers use. To start, we're going to see the workforce management menu. Within this menu, what we are going to see are the workforce 2.0 option and also the absence option. I would also comment the other ones, but the main ones are these two, workforce 2.0 and absences. Let's go with the first one. Within this option, what we will be able to see are the list of employees that we have within our company. You're going to see the name, the internal ID that Workforce gives to every employee, the work center they are assigned to, the category they have, the contract, and the hiring date. If in this column you see data, it's because they have got set a termination date. You can also find an E next to the two lines, which means that they've got an expected end date. Within this menu, you can filter by different aspects. The most common one is business unit. It's also remarkable that you will only have access to the employee of the business units you have access to. Here you can filter by business unit, you can set the columns you want to see, and you can also export this view into a CSV. If you click on an employee, you're going to see the different options for that employee. For example, the personal data and all the fields you have got configured within the employee record in configuration, and you will be able to set the different aspects you want. Within the employee information, you're going to see the historical contracts and modifications on the category and business units that the employee has had. Within time and attendance, you can mark the business unit in which this employee can make the clock in and clock out and generate a new clocking code. And soon, within this option, you will be able to see the documentation that the employee has got attached. If you want to create a new employee, you just have to click on the new button, and here you will be able to select if you've got different regions configured in your system. For which do you want to set the employee? For example, let's select Spain. And here you can fill the fields as you have seen in the other employee records. Within the employee information, it's remarkable that you need to set a start date. It's mandatory to set that date, and it means the date in which the employee is going to start the labor relationship with the customer's company. These employees can be created directly, as we have seen by clicking on the new button, and that can be created with a workflow of proposals. One person creates the proposal of hiring of that employee, the next one supervises the proposal and makes the authorization for that employee to be hired, and another one can validate that supervision of the hiring. Within the holidays, you're going to see a grid in which you can set the employees' holidays, but the most common and easy way to do it's by absences. Absences is the menu where we are going to set all the absenteeisms per employee. Here we're going to see a list of all the absenteeisms we've got set within our business unit. You're going to see first the business unit, the employee, the group of absenteeism. For example, you can see vacation, other leaves, IT. You can see here the concrete incidents, the period in which that incident has been set, the duration of it, and the status of it. You can see here created and reviewed. What this means is that created, we have just posted the incidents in the system, and reviewed is that a person with a higher range than the one that has created has marked as reviewed. Once the absenteeism is marked as reviewed, it's not possible to modify it. You can also attach documentation and post some comments within the absenteeism. Here you're gonna see like a dashboard of the main information of the absenteeisms in your business unit. And from here you can filter to see the ones you want, export it, or create a new one. Creating a new one, it's quite easy. You just have to click here and select in which business unit do you want to set it, which employee is the one with the absenteeism, what kind of absenteeism do you want to set. You have to set a start date and an end date. In case you select the same start date and end date, you are going to be able to select a partial absenteeism. If you don't want it to be partial, which means you can select the hours within that absenteeism is set, you can select the full day. Just by clicking on accept, that absenteeism would be set on the system. Here you can also attach some documentation. For example, if you want to add some paper or some documentation, wherever you want, and post some comments. Within the history tab, when it's created, you're going to be able to see the modifications this absenteeism has suffered. Just by clicking on accept, this absenteeism is going to be posted in the system. If you wanted to review it and you've got permissions on your role to do it, you just have to click on these three dots on the right and mark it as review. If you have miscreated this absenteeism, you can delete it. These are the two main options within Workforce Management menu that our customers uses the most. Workforce 2.0 to see the database of our employees and create and modify the aspects of our employees, and Absences to create and modify the different absenteeisms for the employees. The next one is scheduling. Two main features: the weekly rotas, which is the old and ancient scheduler that we're not gonna see now, the scheduler 2.0, which is the newest scheduler, and the shift finder. The shift finder is it's one of our most known features, which allows us to launch a shift that we need to be covered, and this shift is gonna be proposed to the employees we select. Through Workforce app, to Gear app by now, and through Mapal One, once the operator is migrated, the employee is going to be able to select if he or she wants to perform that shift or not. Let's go to the scheduler screen. This is the new scheduler screen. Within this screen, you're going to be able to see all the employees and select a period you want to set the scheduling. Within the parameters, you're going to be able to select the period. This period now can be up to 1 year. So it's more practical and more fast for the managers to create their shifts. You can also select just one business unit or see a group of business units. The system default has got some groups created, as you can see here, but you can create your own grouping. So let's just select one and let's go to Madrid, which is the business unit we've got on our view. Let's go back, and here we can see. Now, if we want to select another week, we just have to click on these arrows and we are going to be jumping within weeks. We can also select different views. We can go to the daily view and to the monthly view. Setting schedules has never been so easy. Now you can just make a double click and select the shift you want to post, or you can create a battery of different favorite shifts. With this option, you can select the shift you want to set, select the number of days you want to post this shift, and just by double clicking on the employee, you are going to be able to post the shifts. Now it can, because we have got closed this week. You can also configure the shifts within sequences. The sequences, it's just like that, a sequence of different shifts, which are going to make us more easy to set the scheduling for the different employees. If we go to the next option we have got is the time and attendance. Time and attendance, it's one of the main features that our customer uses, because it's going to allow us to check and register and correct, if it's wrong, the different clock-ins and clock-outs of our employees. The documentation feature, it's going to allow us to send documentation to our employees or simply store documentation in our system. Here we're going to see all the documents that we've got attached to our different employees, the employee that has got the documentation attached, the work center of the employee, the type of documentations we have got attached, if it's general, absenteeism documentation. Here you can mark yes or no if you want the employee to view that documentation through Mapal One. Tags, if you have assigned any tags, the tags is a good way to filter that information, and who has made that modification of the documentation. You can filter that documentation by all the columns you see here, by employee, by business unit, by tags, if you want it to be visible or not. You can also filter by business unit, and you can export a list of that documentation you have. If you want to add some new documentation, you just have to click on new. Here, you just have to select the business unit you want to attach that documentation. And here are some filters. For example, if we don't select nothing else, all the employees are going to have this documentation attached. If we want to select just one employee, just clicking by one on the drop-down menu, we're going to have it. You can also select two and you're going to have both. It's multi-select. You can delete it. You can select all the servers within the business unit and all the servers and all the chefs, for example. If you want to filter by contract, by status, if you want current employees, ancient employees, former employees, future employees, wherever you want, okay? Here we're going to select all the employees and click on add. Once we have selected all of our employees, we can attach documentation. You have always to upload the file by clicking here and selecting the file and just drag and drop that documentation. Once you have added that documentation, you can select the digital signature feature. You can toggle on. What this means? You can send that documentations to the employees or other users or external users of the platform that has to sign off that documentation. Is this mandatory? No, but it's a good feature for all of our customers. As you can imagine, within Workforce, you're going to have too much information. So there is one option that is going to let us have all that information condensed, and it's going to be possible for us to have it in an easy way to have it analyzed. If we go to reports here, we're going to have lots of reports. My main recommendation is you having a review of it to see what each report do specifically. But the main ones are Workforce, which is going to give us an Excel file of all our employees and different statics of it. For example, how many managers do we have in the business units we select? How many hours do we have contracted? How many full-time employees do we have? That kind. Contact data, it's going to export us all the information in the employee record, just personal information, no contract information. For example, you can get all the list of emails, you can get all the list of telephone numbers, that kind of things. With the absences report, you're going to have a list of all the absenteeisms you have got. And as you can see, there are many other reports. To have it, as I have said, I recommend you to click on it and check what these reports do. Finally, what we've got is the configuration tab. Here, you're going to see lots of cards. These cards are going to allow you to configure the system to fit as much as possible our customer. We're going to be able to configure many aspects. For example, the bank holidays that are per region. So it's going to take in account to every business unit how many bank holidays and when do they happen, the different categories we have, the different collective agreements we have, the contracts, the cost of labor, which is going to give us an estimate of the cost of labor per business unit, the ideal staff, which is going to tell us within the scheduler how many people do we need depending on the sales we have forecasted, and many other options. So this is the main overview of workforce management.